Kia ora koutou everybody, and welcome to our webinar on the Graduate Diplomas in Teaching. My name is Sophie Scott-Elvidge and I am the Postgraduate Taught Recruitment Specialist here at the Faculty of Education and Social Work. I'm joined tonight by our three Program Directors for the Graduate Diplomas in Teaching, Tamar Weiss-Kovis, Dr. Esther Fitzpatrick and Dr. Barbara Ormond. Just to give you the programs they lead, and we'll then jump into your questions at the end of the session. Before we begin, I'll just run through some basic housekeeping. If you do have questions during the presentation, please do use the Q&A feature below to submit these, and we'll get through as many as we can at the end of the session. Alternatively, you can email these through to pgt@auckland.ac.nz or to education@auckland.ac.nz. There are also a number of additional resources available, and you can download these from the resource list that will be located on the right-hand side of your screen. But first, just a little bit about the university. So why study with the University of Auckland? Well, first of all, we are the #1 New Zealand's top-ranked university. We are also #1 in New Zealand for education as a subject. We have a 97% employment rate for faculty graduates, and we have really strong connections with school communities both in Auckland and Northland. Just a few quick facts about each of our programs. First of all, what is a graduate diploma in teaching? It's a pathway for teaching for those who already hold an undergraduate degree. There are three specialisms. There is the Graduate Diploma in Teaching Early Childhood Education, the Graduate Diploma in Teaching Primary, and the Graduate Diploma in Teaching Secondary. These are one-year intense programs to become either an early childhood, primary, or secondary school teacher. They are highly practical programs. You will experience up to 19 weeks of practicum placements in a variety of school settings, and the practicums are interspersed with the coursework, so it all flows really nicely together. These programs are taught by leading experts, so all of our program directors do have extensive experience in their fields. We have different study options for the graduate diplomas for all of the specializations. You can either study them face-to-face right here at the Epsom campus, or you can study them online. Just a quick note here that both the early childhood and primary programs do begin on the 23rd of January, and the Graduate Diploma in Teaching Secondary starts on the 31st of January. For the online Graduate Diploma in Teaching, this is 1 year full-time or 2 years part-time, and that part-time option is available for both early childhood and primary. These are approved by the Aotearoa New Zealand Teaching Council, and you will have online access to the program material. Please note as well that in 2023, the online Graduate Diploma in Teaching Secondary is only available for science, biology, chemistry, physics, social sciences, history, maths and statistics, business and commerce, English, and te reo Māori. For your practicum placements, if you are doing the online program, your practicum will be located within this boundary that you see. So it will need to be in Northland or Auckland. Cool. I will now hand over to Tamar, who will take us through the early childhood specialism.
Great. Thanks, Sophie. Well, kia ora koutou katoa. So my name is Tamar Weiss-Kovis, and I have the privilege of being the Program Director for the Graduate Diploma in Teaching Early Childhood Education. So when we're talking about early childhood education, we're talking about children from birth up to 5 years of age. Throughout the program, you'll have 17 weeks of practical experience in a range of early childhood services, including a kindergarten, an all-day education and care centre, and an infants and toddlers practicum as well. Oh, Sophie, I'm just having trouble with the slides. Thank you. So, in early childhood, it's really an opportunity to have a positive influence on young children and families in the formative years. We like to think that we have a really positive impact on children through the relationships and communication that we have with children and young families. So it's a really dynamic and rewarding sector to teach in. And the good news is that qualified early childhood teachers are high in demand at the moment. If you opt for this program, you can choose to study over 1 year, or we now are offering a part-time option, which would take 2 years. And courses that we would study include the arts, STEM, curriculum and pedagogy, literacies, languages and cultures, te ao Māori and te reo Māori, alongside the practicum courses and courses focused on the early years teacher and relational worlds of children. So we have a pathway for those. Those are set courses and you either study them all in 1 year, or we have a pathway where you could study some of them in year 1 and some of them in year 2. So be really keen to answer the questions that you have, but for now I'm passing on to Esther.
Hello, I'm Esther Fitzpatrick. I'm the Program Director for the Graduate Diploma in Teaching Primary. Lovely to have you with us this evening, and be lovely to see you next year at one of our cohorts. We have both the face-to-face and the online options open, and also the option to go part-time over 2 years. We focus in this space for the 5 to 13-year-olds, and I've been working in the space of the Graduate Diploma in Teaching Primary for 20 years, both teaching and doing research, and I just love it. I love working with these students who come into this space. We cover a range of the different curriculum subjects. You're introduced to each of these curriculum subjects, plus core things like the pedagogy of teaching, the philosophy of teaching, and some of the critical sort of thinking around teaching in our education communities. Okay, and going to the next slides. And that's handing over to you, Barbara.
Very much, Esther. Okay, well, secondary is a really interesting area to teach in, so thank you very much for coming along to listen and learn a bit more about the Graduate Diploma in Secondary. As you can see, the age focus is that secondary level of years ages 13 to 18, and the program's made up of some weeks in practicum, which is your experience in schools. We have it as 2 main blocks where you go out to 2 very different schools. We make sure that it's they're different either through one being co-ed and one being single sex, or one being lower decile and one being higher decile. And you do have some observation days early on in the year to see just how schools operate before you then go out into your practicum schools. We've got a range of other courses that you do that you need, like the Adolescent Learner and Education Society, the ones that give you the big picture about teaching and approaches to it. And you have your curriculum subjects, which is your speciality, what you've done your degree in, probably, and what you want to be teaching in a secondary school. The lecturers are very experienced teachers and are ones who are in our faculty as experienced researchers as well. So I think you will find that they are extremely up to date, because of course at the moment there's a new curriculum refresh, there's all sorts of things happening in the assessment area nationwide at the moment, and we will be explaining those sorts of things to you. We have 3 programs. So we do have the face-to-face that's at Epsom, and we have the online. And we have a teacher education and schools program which runs along the online. This began this year, and it is a lovely program because it enables you to be part of a school for the year. You do have one other school you go to. One of the schools within the Teacher Education and Schools program hosts you as a second school, so you still get 2 different schools. Our participating schools at the moment are in South and East Auckland. And as I mentioned, you'll be doing the online course, but of course you'll be seeing it day to day in the schools that you're hosted in. You get your fees paid and you get a $10,000 scholarship. Because it is running on the online program, we don't have all subjects on offer, but we have a large number, so it is selected subjects. And what happens is that you apply for the program, you're interviewed, you meet all the normal requirements, and then you may be eligible to be offered a position in the Teacher Education and Schools program if you're interested in being part of that. So there's the schools that we are currently partnered with to do the school program, but there may be more coming on board because the Ministry of Education has just announced a greater support for the Teacher Education and Schools program. So it could expand. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand over to Sophie.
Program. These can help you with how to apply for teaching positions, CV writing, how jobs are advertised in the education sector. We can also help explain the Teaching Council process, and this is where you actually register at the end of the program to become a registered teacher. There is as well in the secondary program an opportunity to attend interviews with secondary principals. So hopefully you've heard something that will be inspiring you tonight to go and take those next steps. So we'll just walk you through what those actually are, as well as the entry requirements. So the basic entry requirements for each of these programs are a bachelor's degree, either from New Zealand or overseas, and you'll need a GPA of 2.4 or higher. And if you're not sure about your GPA, don't worry about it. Our admissions office will figure that out. For the secondary program only, you will also need applicable teaching subjects. There are a number of further entry requirements as well. Once you've actually submitted your application, you'll need to provide 2 referee reports, complete a literacy and numeracy assessment, attend an interview, and complete a police check. And there may also be IELTS or other English language tests required, but they will tell you all of that once you've applied for the program. You'll get a checklist with a to-do list of all those items. So the application process, you can follow this pathway on screen here to apply for the program. All of the initial application is done online. There is also a big blue banner up the top when you visit the Auckland University homepage that says Apply Now, and you can click on that one as well. Once you've made your online application, if you meet those basic entry requirements, you'll receive a conditional offer. So if you accept that conditional offer online, you will then have a number of conditions to meet as mentioned earlier. So those will involve things like the interview and the police check. Once you've met all of those requirements, if you're offered a place on the program, you can then go ahead and enroll in your courses. And again, we'll send out further information on that closer to the time. We have some good news for you as well. Applications for the Teach NZ Career Changer Scholarships are open. These are some really great scholarships. I do encourage you to go and check those out. Applications, you'll need to apply by the 13th of October. These scholarships could support your teaching journey by covering your fees and paying you an allowance while you study, so they're definitely worth having a look at. We've got a couple of upcoming in-person events that we would love to see you at. So there is one on the 5th of October during the day, and that is in the city at the Science Building. So the details are there on screen. And we also have an evening event, again on the 5th of October, and that is at the Sir Owen G. Glenn building, which is where the business faculty is located, again in the city. You can stay up to date with the latest faculty news and events by following us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. So go ahead and give us a follow to keep updated. Okay, so we will now move into the live Q&A to get through some of those burning questions. So the first question that we have here, I will ask Barbara. Can I drop into lectures on campus if I'm an online student?
Unfortunately, no. We need to separate out the two so that we know what's going on. So you can't transfer and you can't just drop in to those lectures as you see fit. Obviously, with booking rooms, we have to have the right sized room. If we had a very huge difference in how many people were turning up, we would have difficulties. That would be just one reason why not. But the decision was made not to allow those transfers across. But we can tell you a lot about what the face-to-face is like and what the online's like, so that you can make a really good decision.
That's great, thank you. The next question we have, which I will ask Esther, is can I be an online student and live elsewhere in New Zealand?
Absolutely, you can live anywhere in New Zealand. What you have to be able to do is for the practicum placements, there are 3 block placement practicum placements and times that you need to be in schools. And these placements are either in Auckland, in the Auckland area, or in the Northland area in Taitokoro. So you can live anywhere in New Zealand to do the content asynchronously as an online student. But for the periods of practicum, you need to be either in Auckland or in Northland.
Thank you, Esther. If you are already a fully registered practicing teacher, will you need to take the English test again? I think it's likely that you won't need to take it again, but it might depend how long ago you have taken that. If anybody else wants to chime in as well, you're welcome.
Every applicant needs to do these tests. I think this question is about the maths and the literacy test and the maths test, and every applicant needs to do 2 tests.
Sorry, yes, for literacy and numeracy you will have to. If it's the IELTS test you're talking about, possibly not. But again, they will tell you at the point of application. Thank you. So the next question we have here is, what is the difference between the UOA Teaching Graduate Diploma and the Teach First program? I'm not sure which graduate diploma this is for, but...
I think this is for Barbara, this question.
Okay, I'll try to answer that. I don't know a huge amount about the Teach First program because it sits, of course, in another institution. But my understanding is that the Teach First program is mainly geared towards particular subjects. So te reo, for example. So they don't offer absolutely everything. And I think you get a scholarship to be in those Teach First programs. So the graduate diploma sort of addresses anybody who would like to be a secondary teacher and has the qualifications, whereas I think there are limitations on who can be in the Teach First program. But you might need to look that up in more detail. I'm afraid I don't know the absolute day-to-day stuff with that.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, so the next question is, can we talk more about the fees-free and the $10,000 scholarship? I assume that is the Teach NZ scholarship.
I think that will be the Teacher in Education program because of the fees-free. But it may be that okay. I'll talk about the teacher education program, which started this year, because that's where the university offered fees free and offered a $10,000 scholarship, because we have sponsors and because we have schools that are willing to engage with this idea, okay? And the students who are in the current program speak very highly of it. Now, there are, of course, scholarships through the Ministry of Education, through the government, and I'm not sure whether those cover fees free or just the financial scholarship. Somebody else might know that detail.
I don't have an answer for this one, and I'm wondering, Sophie or Christina, if there's a link that we can put up here for the participants so they can get the correct information for this question.
Sorry, yes, we can definitely share a link there. Yep. Thank you both. Cool. Okay, so the next one I will ask Tamar is, can I come onto the university campus and use facilities like the library? I assume this is if you're an online student.
My understanding is that online students can come onto campus. You can't come to the scheduled lectures, as Barbara said before, but you're welcome to come on campus and use the campus facilities. Barbara and Esther, is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, and we really do welcome you on and engage with what happens on our campus sites. Just to reiterate again what Tamara and Barbara said, you can't come into the lectures or the workshops that are scheduled for the face-to-face students, but you're welcome to organise like a meeting with us if you need to, and with other colleagues also.
I'd add too that for the online students, when we have our careers events where we do have our principals interviews and we have principals and first year teachers talking and a whole range of events to try and support you getting a position in a school next year, that invitation goes out to the online students as well as the face-to-face students.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. So Barbara, again, what subjects are considered for the Teacher Education in Schools program?
Okay, so it's the online availability subjects, which are, I'm just reading from my list here, English, mathematics and statistics, science, social sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, history, te reo, and business and commerce. Yeah, so those are the ones.
Lovely, thank you. Will the qualification I receive at the end be different because I studied online and not face-to-face? So I'll ask Tamara if she could answer this one.
It's exactly the same qualification, just how you got there is a different mode of study, but the actual content of courses is the same, and your qualification would be the same.
Lovely, thank you. So where can I do my teaching practicum if I'm an online student? Esther, are you able to take this one?
Yes. So the teaching practicums, as I said before, all teaching happens online and is asynchronous, so you can live anywhere. But the teaching practicums happen either in the Auckland area or in the Northland Tautokoro area. So the spaces that you will go into schools for your practice will be either in Auckland or in Tautokoro.
Depending on where you live.
Yes, perfect, thank you. So the next one is, what equipment will I need? I don't know if this varies in the different programs, so I'll let anyone answer this.
There's nothing that we state that you need at all, but clearly it's very useful to have a digital device of some sort. Some schools, when you go out and practicum, have one that they can loan you, but most students would have a laptop or something that they can take with them, but not all. So there's no equipment that is required.
Yeah, I agree.
That's awesome. Cool, thank you. So the last question that we've got here is, can I swap from the online to the face-to-face study option if I don't enjoy being online all the time?
No is the answer to that. Once you've committed to the online, you need to remain in the online program. So that's how we have set it up at this point.
That's perfect, thank you. Okay, so I think that concludes the Q&A portion of this evening. And that concludes our webinar for this evening. So I just want to say thank you all so much for making the time to join us tonight. Do remember about how to apply online, or if you do have any further questions, do feel free to send us an email and get in touch, and we can always go from there. And we hope to see you in person on at our events on the 5th of October. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Ka kite anō.
Thank you. Nice to see you.